Alright, the folks, welcome to another Fishing Adventures, and we're back up on the Ark Lake. No surprise there, because I absolutely love it up here. I've been getting loads and loads of questions recently about starting matches, where's best to start, what's the best approach, and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I possibly can today. Now, one of the questions that came up is it worth starting your match in the margins? Absolutely. As it gets warmer, the fish are going to be moving into that shallow water anyway. And if it's a really, really mild, warm night, I see no reason why they wouldn't actually sleep in the edges. So if you want to start short in the margins and see if you can't catch one of those early stupid fish, it's well worth a go. And that's exactly what I'm going to go and try and do now. So I've got a lovely little margin swim just to my right, and it's about, what we got there, about 2 foot deep. Okay, so I'm just using a 0.4 gram diamond float from Jazz Floats. Okay, nice and stable, nice and strong. And I'm just fishing a strung bulk. On the bottom end of it, I've just got a nice size 14 hook, and I'm going to drop in with 2 grains of corn and see if we can't snag that early fish out. In fact, we're going to start off with just 1 grain of corn on the hook. We're going to go in and just see. Lay that rig in right up to that vegetation. And just say, now it's always worth as well when you're setting up to get ready for your match, just notice where you're going to see the fish coming in. Now there has been a few knocks on the reeds down here, so I know straight away there's going to be a couple of fish in there. Hopefully it's going to be a carp, and if you can come down the edge, get a good sized fish out in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you've settled your nerves, you know you're going to be onto a flyer of a start. In terms of indications now, dips and dinks on that floor, so there's definitely something there. There we go, fish on. Straight away. How quick was that? That was literally 2 minutes. And we're in, and that was on a single grain of corn as well. No other feed in there at all, so they're obviously coming in, or they're just waking up after a slumber, staying in that warm water because the sun's out straight away. Good fish as well, this. Good sometimes as well, if you're fighting a big powerful fish, just tip your pole tip underwater, and the extra resistance on the elastic tends to slow it down a bit faster. Doesn't always work, but it's worth a try. Put a bit too much on him there, I think. Right then, so I'm going to go back in. Single grain of corn. Although there are a couple of frogs milling around having sex, so don't want to disturb them too much, do we? if there's another one milling around in there. Not sure there was, but you never know. We'll find out anyway in the next... Yeah, I think there was only one carp in there by the look of that, because that is little chublet. Right then, so what I'm going to do is, because we had that carp out first put in and lost it, the second put in we went in and there was just a chub there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed a little bit. I'm going to pop in some micros and a couple of bits of corn, and I'm just going to see if we can attract another one in, because my theory is they're going to be in that edge looking for food, aren't they, straight away by the look of it. So we're going to go back in. There's about 100 mil of micros and 5 bits of corn in there. So we'll pop that in and we'll just wait, and we'll just give that a couple of minutes and just see what happens. But yeah, it's if you want to start in the margins, give it a go, because that obviously worked. Got a funny feeling it could have been a foul hooker the way we lost it, but it's always worth trying it. Do you know what I mean? It's if we'd have got that out, it could have been £5 or £6 straight away before everyone else is still chucking it far bank. Do you know what I mean? It's an easy, quick bonus fish. And the other way that you can start is just by starting on your short line, okay, which is what I'm going to do now, just while that margin settles down. Right then, so this one, and what we've got for this one is a 0.5 Jazz Floats Can Do, okay, and that is the 1.5 mil bristle, solid glass stem, and that is just going down to a strung bulk of 5 number 8s, and we've got 2 number 10 droppers on there as well. And I'm just going to go in with a 4 mil hard pellet on the hook, and I'm just going to see what is there, because the bottom of this near shelf is going to be a natural patrol route. And if you saw the bag it short video, a lot of people said, oh, why didn't you start on pellets and stuff? That day it was a maggot day, but today it could be a pellet day, so we'll see. So I'm going to drop that in and just see what happens, basically. I'm not going to put a pole pot on or anything just yet, so we'll flick that rig out and let that come in. Just keep it on a tight line. As I say, we're not far out at all. It's literally a top kit plus one section, and that is the bottom of that near shelf. So although we've spooked that one out at margin and it's kind of swum all the way through here, we still might get a fish out. And I'm just anchored on the deck there. I'm about 2 inches over on that slope, but it does jut up quite a lot. And we'll just see what's there. Again, there's no feed in there as yet, because I just want to see if there is anything there. Got all excited then because there was ripples in the margin, but it's them 2 frogs having sex. So, frog porn. So we'll see. We'll give this up a think then. Oh, there we go. Fish straight away. Let's see what this is. Ooh, a nice skimmer. Nice skimmer. Well, it gave up dead easy, that one, didn't it? I gave up dead easy. Not a bad fish though, that. Not a bad fish. Whoa. There we go. So that was on a 4 mil hard pellet. And we'll see. I'm going to go back in straight away again. See if there's anything else there. And then what we can always do is we can always feed a little bit of bait and make a little bit of a noise and just see if that does attract a carp in. Bite straight away there. There's obviously a few fish down there. Yeah, I can't see anything moving around in those margins now, so I think that was the one opportunity that we had, and we kind of blew it. You see, I don't mind catching skimmers if they're that size. If they were a lot smaller, then I'd maybe try a 6mm pellet, which is going to be a bit more selective. Okay, so we don't want them. Oh, gudgeon. Gudgeon on a 4mm pellet. Who'd have thought that? Right then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with the 4mm, but I'm going to feed as well this putting. So I'm just going to sprinkle in a few pellets, well, by hand, drop in a few pellets and just see if the noise attracts something a little bit bigger. So we're not many, about half a dozen, just around that float. I'm going to lay that rig in again and just see if that noise has maybe attracted something a little bit bigger in. Because what we're doing on this line will tell us roughly what we need to be doing when we fish further out. We've got a second line set up at about 14 metres. I'm going to do exactly the same out there, except I'm going to fish a 6mm pellet on the hook and feed some 4s and 6s from a pole pot around it. So what we can kind of do now is see what happens on this short line. We had that skimmer out straight away, then we had a gudgeon, so I've just started feeding to see if the noise is going to attract a few fish in. I'm getting a few little indications on the float, but nothing really positive, so it suggests that there could just be a few small fish milling around, which we don't really want. I'd rather see if we can get the F1s going. So what I'm going to do is just keep plugging away for another 5 or 10 minutes and just see if we can't make something happen, just with a little bit of regular feeding. There we go. And that looks like either a better skimmer. Ooh, F1, that'll do. So we know just by feeding those pellets in by hand and making that noise, it's attracted the F1s in. That's a lovely fish, that is. That's a lovely fish. Look at that. That's not a bad start in anybody's book, that. Get him in, because he's kicking off. So there we go. Right then, so I'm going to do same again. Pop that rig in. Loose feed those 4mm. So yeah, it looks like then the sound of those pellets going in has attracted that F1 in. So we'll go in again and see. Indications there straight away. Because normally the step procedure on a match like this is bung your method feeder out for the first hour and see what happens, but you're potentially missing out on these early fish short, because if you can get them going short now, you can build that picture up, and if this does dry out, you can try exactly the same thing at say 12 metres or 14 metres, just fishing a single bait and just pinging a few pellets over top, and it will draw the fish in. So you might as well get the best way of catching them done, which is short basically, because they're a lot faster to land. Just don't be a numpty and lose that one out at margins, because that one a good size fish. But anyway, not to worry. Really to worry about. And we got another gudgeon. Dearie me. Right then. So now we've got the gudgeon. I kind of know that the food that's down there has been mopped up and eaten. So what we can do is we can start feeding more aggressively and attract a few in, or we can chop and change and decide what to do from there. So there we go, folks. Always worth starting short, or just having a quick cheeky 5 minutes in the margin to start with. Obviously don't lose the fish like a plum sack like I did, but it just goes to show if you can start short, you can build up a pattern of what's going to happen through the day. We had that big skimmer out, then we had a gudgeon, then I loose fed over the top, and that noise attracted that big F1 in. So it's just a matter then of repeating the process, finding that pattern, and if it does die for whatever reason, or if someone starts bagging shallow at say 14 metres, then you can copy that, and you know by making the noise with the loose feed that it's going to draw those F1s in. So give it a go.